All right, YouTube. I give a lot of relationship advice. Whether it is good or bad, you let me know in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the share button, hit the bell notification button. And I think I want to title this Safeguarding Your Relationships. Safeguarding your relationships. And the only way I can really equate this is to an experience that I had today with meeting Brian, who was a pool service provider. And also, I'm going to use an example of a long-term customer that I have had over a decade. And to protect the name of the innocent, of the aforementioned, I'm going to call him Rick. Go call him Rick. Rick has been a satisfied customer. He has been a satisfied customer, and he has no problem paying his pool service. Rick has a Porsche Panamera, I think a GTS. If you guys know anything about cars, you know the price of that. Drives a Land Rover and lives in a multi-million-dollar house. You're gonna say, what does that have? What does that got to do? What has all that information? What's that got to do with the information that I'm about to give you? So Rick can afford to pay for top dollar pool service. Rick, mind you, has been happy. He has no problem. He kind of understands why he's paying a lot in the summertime. Bigger pool, more chemicals. I don't know if I was supposed to take that. I have explained that to him, and he understands. What Rick does not understand, or what Rick had a hard time comprehending, was in the wintertime why he was still paying for summertime pricing. And that was because they pay even though I bill at the beginning, when I give them a tally of services used or chemicals used is from the month prior. I really couldn't spell that out. Even if I did spell that out, Rick still expressed his dissatisfaction in the price of his pool service. No matter how long I've been with Rick, there was an issue. He was dissatisfied. Dissatisfied, even though he could pay for the service, even though the service was within the going rate of the top pool providers, meaning that if you've been in business for a while, not like Brian, who I just met, who was below market standard, he was paying about the regular price. Now, even though I'm providing a good service to Rick, and I'm thinking that I am his man $100,000, Rick can always find somebody else or another service provider to make him happy. If I don't make him happy, if I don't listen to his, what do I call it? If I'm not listening to his dissatisfaction, or if I'm not paying attention to what he's concerned about, Rick will replace me. It has happened to me time and time again. We live in a world where there are a lot of options out there. A lot of options. A lot of times in the past, when we look at why would so-and-so stay in this relationship, or why would blah blah blah? Number one, options were a lot fewer then. options were a lot fewer. Women weren't working, you know. And I gave a run-of-the-mill joke of, you know, before this age of travel, you know, grandmama had to be satisfied with Bubba from around the way just because he was a hard worker. There was nobody dropping in her DMs, nobody doing this, I mean, times were so simple back then that Bubba could have a family 2 blocks away, and grandmama, great grandmama, would never know about it until his funeral. That's how simple times were. I thought about this. It's important to listen to, if you're in a relationship, business relationship, personal relationship, it's important to listen to your partner and not only listen, but and act on what their displeasure is. And here's a classic example. I heard what Tom was saying. Tom said to me, sorry, phone slip. Tom said to me, I am going to pay you for said December, and we'll revisit this at the end of the month or the next month. I heard what he was saying. He was saying that he was dissatisfied that he was still paying summer prices and it was wintertime. I heard that. Now, if I did not act or change that, because there are a lot of pool professionals around that are paying lower, that are coming every single week, no matter how great I am, Rick actually will replace me. One day he'll come and say, I'm done. This is your last week. That's what happens in today's world. No matter how much I think that Rick is satisfied with my service, he expressed the displeasure. What did I do in return? I validated his displeasure. I explained to him why this was happening, and come January, instead of his bill being $178, as I promised, as I explained what would happen, it dropped all the way down to $146. Now notably that was supposed to happen. I told him this has been happening. The reason why you haven't noticed it is and I'm taking you through all the years. We've been operating this way. But I still did not take I still didn't take Rick for granted. I still said, hey, next month your bill should be $154. It was almost $10 lower than that amount. Had I not listened to Rick, and Rick would have kept explaining his displeasure, and I did not listen to that, he'd have found a new pool service. No matter how much he was making, no matter how much I think he could afford it, no matter what the going rate was for pool service, he would have found someone that satisfied his need. He would have. I met one guy today. He said $150. I go every week. There's always going to be somebody that is willing to take what you are. Say if I took advantage of him, there's always going to be somebody that's saying, I'll take it. I'll take it. Men, I used to tell men like this. I said, hey man, my wife there's no friends. I'm her last friend. I don't care if she just has a close friend, blah, blah, blah. There's no friends, because I'm not going to cuss here, but there's always somebody willing to bump your girl. No matter if you think your girl's thing is just another thing, another day, there's always that person saying, I do her, and then he'll toss it to the side. Just that's how the world works. Women, if you got a hard-working man out there, I can't believe he went with that girl at McDonald's. She took him. She was very appreciative of what he was doing. She listened to him. He didn't have to pay that much for her. This is the way the world works now. So notice and listen to your partner. You know, if my wife, which she'll watch this, I think she watches all my stuff, brings something to me. And I'm only saying this because I failed at this in the past. Remember, I was married previously, and there was displeasures brought to me, and I did not change. I still kept having the girls. I thought I was slick. I used to, me and my wife now is talking about, me in my heyday. That's like I know every last trick. I know to put the name in the phone backwards. I noticed because I was that dude. I'm not. I am. And I tell people this. I said, man, if I was her, I'd have left me a long time ago. I was that guy. I was that guy to the point now it's like, no, how did you know? How do you A, B, C, and D? I said, man, it takes one to know one. I was that guy that couldn't let you never think it from looking at me. Had all the female friends. I didn't have guy friends. I had all female friends. And there was even a run-of-the-mill joke was like, Josh, you have you got all these female friends, you ain't tapping none of them. It was true. It was true. What people thought I wasn't doing that to none of them, but it still was a displeasure in my prior relationship that I did not pay attention to, that I ignored. And when you go ahead and ignore those things, there's a level of disrespect that is taking place when it's ignored and the same behavior continues. And for whatever reason, that person may have stuck it out for hopes that things would change. Okay, you'll hear the conversation. Hey, when we're in a good place, we're in a good place. We're having fun. But you'll hear that. And I can't even explain what my displeasures were because that's not my story to tell. I'm only telling you because I've learned that when there are displeasures or dissatisfiers or things that kind of put a nick at the relationship, how to look for signs of, okay, that's wearing on the happiness of not the person but the relationship, their outlook of the relationship. I've learned to listen, just like I listened to Rick, and I've learned to know that my service ain't the best service in town. There's always going to be another service to step up, brand new, saying, I'll take the job, I do it, and I'll be here every single week. I give you the price that you want. Whether that changes in the future or not is neither here or there. I tell people in business now, I'm replaceable. No matter how great I am, there's always going to be an upcoming star that's just as great, that's willing to put in the hours, that's willing to forge a name for themselves. So I've learned to listen to my customers. Not that I wasn't listening to them in the past, because I did listen to them, but it was the point where I thought that I couldn't be touched. I was riding high on a hog, y'all. Y'all heard my story before. I had 3 and I was growing, and it took one customer. Matter of fact, it took a couple times. Somebody came home and had a bad day at work and was like, I'm done. Something that I had did before very neatly, had a bad day at work. And they told me that I just had this horrible day at work and I'm done. A woman told me, emotional breakdown. I'm done. You've been great, but no, we can't turn back from this. It took that one time. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section on safeguarding your relationship at all costs. Are you listening? Are you comprehending? And are you acting? And what are you doing to safeguard your relationship? Peace.